ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on this week's episode, we'll be talking about the movie The Creator. But before we get to any of that, I am joined today by Nirmata Nathaniel and Nathaniel Gingrich.
What up, folks? I'm Nirmata Nathaniel. That's going to make sense in about 5 minutes. But yeah, that's a pretty cool one. Go ahead.
Do you guys ever, while you're watching the movie, think to yourself, oh, that's going to be my name for the week?
No.
This one was too obvious.
No. Haven't had that experience.
No, you never think about it? Okay.
No,
maybe we'll get there one day. I guess I'm just okay. Not that important in your guys' lives. I get it.
I'm just so dedicated to the movie when I'm there. You know, I'm worshiping at the
altar. Right, you can't be thinking about Back Row Banter.
Yeah.
No.
I'm worshiping at the altar of cinema. I need to be focused, man.
Singing your Pledge of Allegiance to Natalie, or not Natalie Portman. What's her face?
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman. Thank you.
Yeah. Every
Not
time.
even. Yeah. How you doing, Nathaniel? Your D-backs are looking good.
Yeah. Fingers crossed here. You know, we'll see. We'll see how they're doing. I'm okay. I actually had food poisoning yesterday, so that wasn't great.
Oh,
but we're on the mend.
Good. From where?
Bona beef, actually. We think. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Did you dirty?
It is unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
But we're on the mend, so things are looking up.
That is good. That is good to hear. Also joining us today, the Nomad, Tyler Verdalis.
What's going on?
Have I done Nomad before for you? I feel like I might have.
I don't know.
Probably not for Tyler. If anything, you probably did it for me.
Yeah, Nomad.
Probably.
Nathaniel, that sounds.
Nomad Nathaniel. That sounds like it's been done before.
That sounds accurate.
What's going on, Ty?
Nothing. Out of town. I'm in our Minnesota office.
Yeah, that's
Minnesota
right.
office, yeah. How's it going up there? Is it cold? Cold yet?
It's good. No, it's actually 20 degrees higher than like the yearly average
Oh,
for this
that's
month.
pretty good. Good
What's
for
the
this
temperature?
moment. Bad for global warming.
Currently, I believe it's like 78. It dropped because it's like currently raining here.
Yeah. 78's not that bad for this time of year, though, Matt.
But it was like 80, 85 the last 2 days.
Not bad for
Yeah.
Minnesota at this time of year.
I'm excited right
It's
now
very
because
warm.
the rain's here, and then like tomorrow I can like wear a sweatshirt, which is dope. I got a
was
new
gonna say.
sweatshirt today for work, so I'm like really hyped.
Oh, there you
about
go.
it.
Like they gave you one, some merch.
Yeah, we did a bunch of tours today, of like the facilities around here, and then at the end there's like a shop where you get all your swag, and they literally just give you like $150 of credit, and they're like, go crazy.
Nice.
Granted,
ain't
the
bad.
sweatshirt I got is $120.
So I got that and a pencil.
But I got
got that and
I got the sweatshirt, and then I got a notebook, and then I also got Carolee a scrunchie.
Oh, nice.
Because like girls can never have enough scrunchies, and it's Cambria, so I'm like, cool, run it.
To me, that feels like when you go to the arcade and you're like, well, I got my big item, and then let me just get like, a Chinese finger trap and
Let me
like
get a ring pop.
two of the Jolly Ranchers and like,
Set
yeah,
of
I spent all
vampire
my
teeth.
credits.
Or
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when it's weird because they don't let you use that money and your money together. You have to do them like separately, because then I get my employee discount, which is like 50% off merch. So I bought another polo that I saw there, because you can never have enough work shirts. So I was
True.
like, this one's dope,
Right.
and it's by Travis Matthew.
I knew
who's
you.
like a
I knew you were gonna
big,
say that. Yeah.
golfing. Yeah, it just makes sense.
You gonna wear it on the course?
So, I absolutely would. Yeah, 100%.
Always repping. It's you gotta
Facts.
respect that, I might show up in my Best Buy polo. You never know.
It's
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
It's cool when you find a company that you want to like brand outside of work.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And their logo's dope. It's a gold dragon. So I'm like, that's
Really?
that's
Wait,
dope.
now I want to see it. What's it called?
Cambria.
Cambria.
Yeah.
That's gonna pull up a town
Cambria.
in Spain.
I'm looking.
Town in Spain.
I'm looking.
I can't find it. Cambria.
I mean, there's a lot of things that are called Cambria.
Oh, I found it now. Yeah, it is pretty cool logo. I like that. Clean.
Yeah.
Also joining us
Well-
today, Big Robo BlakeHolder.
Hey, what up, fellas?
What's going on? Also a new gig for Mr. Holder.
Yeah, man. Yeah, doing all right. Good week.
Yeah, good week. To say the
Early in the
least.
I
week,
wasn't
yeah, good
announcing
week.
that yet.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah.
No. It's all
Everybody
good.
might-
It's all good.
It's not on LinkedIn yet, dude. Come on.
Yo, I didn't change my LinkedIn for like 2.5, 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, it's gonna take me a minute to get to that thing.
You hear to hear
Yeah, I was
first,
just like,
folks.
Whatever.
Soft launching on the Back Row Banter podcast.
Soft launch. I feel like this is a public podcast. Feels like a pretty hard launch.
Nah, we're pretty soft.
Okay. But exciting, Blake. I don't know if we talked about it pre-pod, so I don't know if that'll make it post-pod. But new gig, a little bit of an upgrade. Feeling
Yeah,
good, I'm
man.
sure. Got to be a
Everything's
relief.
going all right so far. The only thing that can make it better is some Bears football looking a little good, but
Trash.
fortunately, yeah, man,
Wow.
it's Tyler even shot me
Yeah.
a message. My other buddy, who's a Packers fan, shot me a message. I've got 2 buddies from college who are Vikings fans from Minnesota. Yeah, and everyone's like,
Ugh.
I am the laughing stock of that group chat, fellas. So yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, I never like text anybody or call anybody to be like, "You're a Bears fan, you suck too." I'm just like, I always like to be like, "How do you like? Come on," and then we just tear
Yeah.
them up together.
But that's honestly what it's like now at this point. It's like almost not even like trash talking. It's just like, man,
Just
these
It's
guys
sympathizing.
Yeah, dude, like,
yeah.
I felt bad.
It's pity. It's pity.
just
Yeah,
commiserate.
crazy.
me and Adam were watching the game at the store, and we were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, like they're up 21-0 or 28-7,
It was
whatever it was."
21-7 at the
Dude,
half, I
looks
think.
solid.
For
Oh,
sure.
Yeah.
We're like, "Okay, we might be in business." And then, like, I don't know, me and him. Oh, my mom comes in. Funny enough, so
Shout
Adam
out,
met my mom.
Shout out,
Actually,
Mrs. Holder.
second time you met my mom, right?
Yeah, it's been a few years. I think
Sure.
Last time she came in was probably 2018 or 2019. It was
Yep.
around then. But shout out, Mrs. Holder.
Yeah, so my mom comes in. She's looking at upgrading her phone. I think she came in for a screen protector mom thing. Sitting there, realizes she can update her or upgrade her phone. So that came to a long
iPhone 15
conversation.
titanium.
That's what Adam tried
tried.
to get her on.
I tried. She's got a
Oh.
Samsung. I mean,
Yeah.
And I feel like we've talked about this once or twice the past couple weeks, but she's got a Samsung. And we were looking at upgrading her Samsung, and then like we were kind of ready to either like she was like thinking about whether she wanted to do it, yes or no, and then I just decided to throw the whole wrench in there and be like, or you could just like switch to the iPhone and we could take a look at what that looks like, and then that was a whole another like 30 minutes.
She
And
declined?
she said she wanted to think about it,
Information
So-
overload. Yeah, she had to go home
Yeah.
and think about it.
which is
Um,
understandable.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Get her away from the iPhone. She don't need that crap.
Well, she's got the iPad, and so it would work out better for her. But then she'd also have to get the Apple Watch. It was a whole thing. But yeah, we were helping out Mrs. Holder, and then I think we go on lunch, and I sit down. I'm like, "Hey, Bears won," and then and Blake just shakes his head, and I was like, "No way they lost," because we didn't really get a chance to watch much of the second half, and then
Yeah, it was like 24 unanswered points.
yeah,
Insane.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Unfortunate.
A bad day at the office.
It's a very
But
bad day at the
It
office.
happens, man. I feel like right now we're in like that 2018 Browns, 2019
We
Browns
are.
purgatory, where it's just like,
We
man, these guys
are.
stink.
Yeah, because I mean the Browns felt like, the Browns for a while were definitely the laughing stock of the league, and it's unfortunate, but the Bears have reached that point. Didn't think we'd ever get here.
Yeah,
Never
I
should be
think-
here, but
I think the
we are.
Browns at one point, I do think they went winless for a season. That might be like 2017 or something.
I forgot what it was.
Um,
Yeah.
They
And
went-
then so that's 0-16. And then also we're looking at reading some stuff on ESPN today. I think if the Bears were to lose this coming week, I think that would be 17 losses in a row. So basically a full season of winless. I don't think they've won a game since like week
That's
3
a
of
foul
last year.
number.
Yeah. 17 in a row is tough no matter what sport you're playing. You couldn't squeeze one out.
Especially when you have one game a week.
Yeah.
It's
you couldn't
especially
squeeze one of
bad
these
because that's
things
over
out.
a year without a win.
Yeah,
'Cause,
man.
you know what? Honestly, though, at this point, I'm just rooting for him to keep that losing streak going. How far can we tank? How far does it go? At this
Yeah.
point, we might as well just see it through to the end.
No,
Until the Bears
because
dissolve.
Even as not a Bears fan, when I'm not watching Green Bay, I enjoy watching good games.
That's more so what it is for me. I mean, Bears fan, of course, but yeah, just seeing that bad of like content being put on display is just frustrating.
Especially when it's just your team. Like,
Yeah.
watching bad football in general is not fun, but when it's your team, it hurts extra.
So yeah,
Actually.
Chicago's just in a purgatory for sports right now, fellas. I think Cubs didn't make the playoffs, right? We were chatting about that at the store, Nathaniel and Adam.
Yeah.
I don't think the White Sox did either.
No, they did not.
The Blackhawks, I believe, had the number 1 pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Blackhawks are the one shining light in Chicago right now. Yeah.
Yeah, a guy in
But they haven't been
Vancouver-
the past 5 years, so like that's the thing. It's like
yeah, there's a
you
guy
say
in
that, but
Vancouver when I was over there last week. He said that they drafted basically the guy who's going to be like the next like prodigy in hockey.
That's what they're
Yeah.
saying.
and yeah,
At least
he's
to Nathaniel's
looking
point, that's
good.
what they're saying. We've got to see it first, right? You hear that story a lot in sports. So,
We've kind of seen it already in preseason, and I think has the
Oh, they
season
started already for hockey?
I think
Jesus
preseason
Christ.
started,
Okay.
and he's already got some highlights. So,
Okay.
yeah,
So he's looking promising. He's doing the right things.
yeah, no, it's
Okay.
already looking pretty good for him. It's just, I think I told you in the store. I think we'll see pretty quick that he is who everyone thinks he is, but I don't think we're not at the point yet for the Blackhawks that'll get him, or that he can carry us to the Stanley Cup. Like, I don't think he can do that much, but
Gotcha.
it's looking good.
So yeah. So we'll see. I guess we'll root for the D-backs by default. being a fan.
Yeah, and
Back Row
then
Banter's rooting for it right now, fellas. Did they win the
Yeah.
game, Nathaniel?
It is bottom of the 9th, and they just put 2 more runs up on the board, so it is 6-3. So it's looking good, but we'll
So it's
still
looking
got to
good.
close it out.
All right.
that is, yeah. Who are they playing?
The Brewers.
Milwaukee Brewers.
So yeah.
Oh,
so-
you know what? I'm
Brew, brew.
100% rooting for the D-backs.
so
I'm gonna root for the Brewers just because baseball.
Go for it, bro.
Sure.
Cool.
Do you think
Basketball's
someday
around the
that,
corner.
do you think someday that we would have AI play sports
Oh, boy.
among humans?
Now we're chatting.
Do you
That'd
think
be
it would
cool
just
to
be
see.
such an unfair advantage?
You know, it'd be
Or-
completely
okay, so
unfair.
hear me out though. What if we take Nathaniel's point to what if we just allowed humans to take an extreme amount of PEDs so we can see like the peak human physique
Yes.
versus AIs?
Someone was trying to do that. There was something
Do we
recently
think we'd hold up?
that they were talking about
No.
doing the like the peak human games, which was just like, hey, we're gonna do all of the events of the Olympics, but just do whatever you want. And they were trying to get like funding for it, but I don't think that came through yet. But I'm
Take
kind of in for it.
steroids,
Yeah,
do
just
whatever
the,
you
mo-
need
the
to
money didn't
do.
come through. The back end didn't come through on that
yeah,
yet. Huh?
yeah.
Um,
But the idea's out there. I'm telling you, folks, they're just waiting. Get one of them tech billionaires. Don't buy an app. Buy the extreme, the Super Sports
The
League.
PED Olympics.
Yes. I'm tired of tech billionaires, billionaires in general using their money to just buy other businesses. Make weird shit. Be wacky.
Yeah, no, don't cure world hunger. Make the
I'm just saying if we're
extreme
gonna strip mine the world and we're like, pretty committed to just boiling us all with, whatever microplastics that we're inhaling at any given moment. Just,
right.
at least give me bread and circuses to watch it at the same time, right?
Sure. That's valid. Speaking of AI, let's talk about the
Segue.
creator, gentlemen. Nathaniel, if the listener here is new, or maybe they just have forgotten. Can you give them a rundown of how our review segment works?
What up, folks? If perhaps you're new or you've just forgotten, the way the Back Row Banter review segment works is it is broken into 2 sections. There's a non-spoiler section, and then there's a spoiler section. It's pretty self-explanatory. In the non-spoiler section, we'll go over the movie's IMDb page, who wrote it, who directed it, who's in it, all that good stuff. We'll go around the squadron and decide if we would recommend this movie. Has to be a yes or no. There is no nuance on the internet. And then it'll be spoiler time. If you don't want to have any spoilers for you, just go ahead and check out. But do check when we will have spoiler time over in the podcast show notes. And come back and see where we rank it up on our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything we've watched on the podcast ranked. With that being said, Adam, tell me about The Creator.
I would love to. This is a new movie. Lo and behold, a new movie amidst the writer's strikes. I don't know how this...
Brand new.
Well, actors' strikes now. I don't know how exactly this slipped through into release. I don't know how this didn't get delayed, but regardless, it's here.
We're grateful.
Yeah, we are grateful for something new. It's been a while. What was the last new movie we reviewed on here? It hasn't been that long, but it feels like it's been a while.
Yeah,
Anyway.
this was when it was starting to get real dicey. Like after this one, there wasn't going to be really anything else out there for a long time. So luckily, the writers'
this
strike.
is kind of going to be the last holdout.
Yeah, we'll see where the SAG actors go, and I think the crews are on strike now as well too. The IHC crew organization.
Good for them.
Yeah,
good for them. This is a new movie, rated PG-13, with a runtime of 2 hours and 13 minutes and an IMDb rating of 7.2 out of 10. Directed by Gareth Edwards, who friends of the pod may know from the 2014 Godzilla remake.
that is correct.
Which we have not reviewed, so I can't say like friends of the pod, but like we feel like we've talked about before with the other Godzilla movies, as well as probably most known for maybe Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
I would imagine so.
Probably
it's
up
gotta
there.
be pretty high up there.
Yeah, it's Star Wars. It's a pretty big, pretty popular. I don't know if you guys heard of it.
Yeah, no, it was like one of the better ones that came out.
It was one of the better ones.
within
Yeah.
those time frames. So.
Yeah. Written by Gareth Edwards, of course, and Chris Weitz. Or Wheats, I think one of the two.
Take your pick.
And it's a story. What'd you say?
I said take your pick.
Okay, yeah, either one. And the story is by Gareth Edwards, starring John David Washington. He makes his return to the Entropy list just at Tenet. Anything else that he's?
I think it's
appeared
his
in?
second time. I don't think we've done. We haven't done.
What was
the
his
Black
other big one?
Klansman, right? That's
Yeah.
something.
Well, we have not done Black Klansman.
That's
I
really
feel
all
like there was
I know
one.
from.
He was in Amsterdam, which we didn't end up reviewing.
Oh, that is right. Yeah, heard the
And
movie's
I think
not
that
that good.
I heard it was. Yeah, I heard it was just okay. Also starring Madeline Yuna Voiles and Gemma Chan, Allison Janney, and Ken Watanabe. That's probably where I'll stop. There's a lot of other characters in this. The list kind of goes on and on, but those are the main ones.
Godzilla.
Yes, he was.
He was. Yeah, was
Yeah.
he? Was he? I feel like he's been on the Entropy list before and something else too, right? King of the Monsters.
Jim Chan's also
and-
been on the Entropy list too, though.
Yep.
And Don't Worry, Darling, and Eternals.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I knew I recognized her. Damn. Good call on that one.
Ugh, Eternals.
Yeah,
Let's move on. I don't want to sit on Eternals too long. It's gonna make me sad. But he Ken Watanabe also in Inception. From the Entropy list. So he's on a top 10 here, fellas. He's got held in somewhat high regard here. The IMDb summary of the film reads as follows. Against the backdrop of a war between humans and robots with artificial intelligence, a former soldier finds the secret weapon, a robot in the form of a young child. Okay. Decent summary, I guess. Yeah, I don't know how much more to add. It's the future. What is the year? 2065? Around there? 2070, 2065?
Believe
Something
so.
like that? Yeah.
Maybe 2070 because there's that.
I think it is. I think they say 2065, and then it's the 5-year jump. Yeah, somewhat spoilers, but yeah, it
Spoiler
cold
alert.
opens, and then 5-year jump, and then I think we're 2070. AI war. AI's evolved. war between humans and AI. Yeah, the AI weapon is a young child. That's kind of in the trailer, so not much of a spoiler there. And John David Washington finds the child, and it's kind of their story together. Obviously, John David Washington, human. I'll clarify that. He's on the side of the humans. AI child, if you haven't guessed already, on the side of the AI. So, wow. But yeah, I'll leave that there. It kind of, in terms of the style of sci-fi, a little grittier towards the District 9 style kind of sci-fi is some of the vibes I got there. I feel like you could kind of match some simulators there in terms of like the robots designs and stuff like that. I guess District 9 wasn't necessarily robots, but just kind of that, I don't know, that sci-fi aesthetic, the grittiness of it.
Yeah, I think
that's
a good call.
I would agree.
Yeah. And then some definitely some Rogue One. The film kind of just looks Rogue One in terms of the setting and then the way it's shot and just the costume design and everything like that. A lot of Rogue One kind of feel to this as well. So that definitely carries over.
I would say some of the shots are pretty similar as far as
Yeah.
how he uses his framing and
Mhm.
foreground, background, stuff like that.
Right. And I saw somewhere that he was using lenses, like super ultra wide lenses. Like this is actually, when you look at the aspect ratio,
Yeah, it's huge.
it's hugely wide, like one of the widest films ever shot. And they ended up cropping it down for most screens because they can't even fit it on most screens. So like they have to crop into the 16:9, but it was shot in something like 27:20 or something like that. I don't know, something incredibly wide. Because of that, it helps get this kind of the way that the image kind of zooms out, just the flattening of it almost. I guess it would be flattening. It'd be the reverse if it's wider, but either way, just the way it's
Be kind
shot,
of like fisheyeing it.
yeah, fisheyeing it a little bit. So the way it's shot is
Yeah.
very similar to Rogue One as well. So with all that being
I
said,
saw this in IMAX.
I also saw this in IMAX.
Saw it on a Dolby.
Saw it in Dolby.
I saw Dolby.
Cool. Which theaters you go to, Blake? Is the Rosemont one closer for you?
Yeah, I did. I ended up going to Rosemont
Okay.
yesterday evening.
Gotcha. How close is that for you?
Man, mileage maybe like 3 point something. I'm
Gotcha.
probably.
Oh,
8
that's
minutes.
pretty close. Yeah, that's pretty close.
I think it's probably technically closer than the Randhurst one
Oh yeah, probably.
because it's straight down River Road.
Right. Definitely not. There wasn't many IMAX shots, so I was like seeing it IMAX. Of course, I appreciated the bigger screen and the extra sound and everything like that. But there wasn't, from what I at least saw, there wasn't like a lot of using that aspect ratio to fill the screen much. So it wasn't entirely necessary. Probably one, and films like this where it's like there's not the bigger screen, it's not being utilized on things like this. I feel like Dolby's usually better than IMAX, but still IMAX is better than digital. So regardless of that, gentlemen, what are our thoughts here?
Silence.
All right, and that was the review.
Yeah, I'll kick it off. I mean, overall, it's pretty good. I like it. Right, I left pleased. There are flaws, but I would say I will take that just because we have like an original idea. Like I
Right.
would rather watch like 15 of these than watch another fucking Marvel superhero movie. Like just give me something that somebody has conceptualized from their mind to paper to film and just let it roll. Right? So like I think that was the biggest thing for me where I was like I'm on board for that, man. There are so many movies now that we have that are either like a comic book adaptation from an actual book based on a true story or based on some history of events that have happened before, which is like cool sometimes. Completed from this. And I don't know the last time we've got original like, sci-fi movie. So, I mean, heck, for example, the one we just reviewed yesterday, or not yesterday, excuse me, last week, Blade Runner 2049.
Mhm.
Great movie, but like not an original idea. You know what I mean? So these don't.
Yep.
These are
A sequel.
These do not come very commonly.
Yeah,
Agreed, yeah.
I I'm kind of in the same boat. I think there's a lot to like here overall. I think it's a movie that's definitely well conceptualized. You can tell everything's, well thought out, well structured, storyboarded to death, I'm sure. Um,
Mm.
and really is and doesn't hold your hand in the way a lot of other movies would, in terms of uh bringing you up to speed with everything going on in the world. It's kind of like, here's the rules, here's some things that are in there, and then the rest of it is just kind of, you can pick up from context, or you can pick up from background information, or kind of just, how they are going about
Implied information.
going about telling the story. So I think that's signs of good filmmaking overall. I still felt left feeling a little bit underwhelmed, I think, in some ways. And there was, I've seen some criticism coming out about the movie itself, and kind of what story it's telling, and kind of where it's deciding to tell it. And maybe, some of the other stuff we might talk about in spoilers a little bit, but
I would love to, yeah.
yeah, but overall it's to Blake's point, it's a original idea, well made. It's the type of thing that we should be getting more of and enjoying, and the fact that this movie cost $80 million and looks this good is
For sure.
another like just body
I had
blow.
no idea it only cost $80 million. That's
Yeah, I didn't know either.
incredibly impressive.
Yeah,
Holy-
I caught some stuff on Reddit afterwards, and that's what everyone
Yeah.
was talking about. And I was like, I would have never guessed it was 80 million.
No, not even close.
It's crazy because what was the
This
budget
dude
on Snake Eyes?
alone.
Wasn't that like 98?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it
Or
was
something absurd.
it's been crazy. Like
The guy said having a budget is too much.
it's a pretty it's a body blow to big budget movies right now,
For
in
sure.
terms of like how their effects look and everything like that. And I mean, it goes to show why I think Gareth Edwards hasn't just been sitting at home doing nothing since Rogue One got released or whatever. He's been cooking, he's been thinking
Yeah.
for a bit. But
Let 'em cook.
yeah. Tyler, some thoughts?
Yeah. I had a good time with this.
This feels like it's very up your alley. Like, this feels like it's one that
Yeah.
should be made for Tyler.
Especially
Yeah, I
this
mean,
time of
you
year.
guys-
You said you were playing Starfield into the sci-fi.
Yeah. There's a lot of good things going on in my universe for this movie, which I think definitely helps up my value for it. But yeah, I had a really good time with this. I actually so I'm out of town. There is an AMC like 5 minutes from here. Somehow, some way, I got the keys to a company car.
Ayo.
So I asked the lady before, and I was like, "Is this just to and from like hotel to training, or like can I just drive this thing around?" And she's like, "Yeah, do whatever you want." I was like, "All right, bet." So I'm like, I can go get food whenever I want. I went to the movie. I actually had two guys from this class course that I'm going through come with me, so that was cool. Making some
cool.
new friends. And
Okay. Shout out.
yeah, and they asked for the pod name, so hopefully we get some listeners out of it.
Ayo.
Yo.
It's either way.
Networking.
But, yeah,
Let's
and one of
go.
them is named Tyler. So shout out
Hey.
Tyler if you ever listen to this, and Daniel.
That's close to
those are the
Nathaniel.
guys that went with me. So yeah, that's true.
Get like 4/5 of my name. Actually, more.
Yeah, I just need a. There's so many things that rhyme with Blake that aren't a name. So,
Yeah. The
so
only
if I could
thing
just find
you
another
can,
Blake, that'd be cool.
Or Drake.
funny story. I hate to cut you off, but yes, that is a name that I've gotten before on an email of somebody just like not consciously reading my name. And then also I went to Chick-fil-A last week for breakfast. Shout out Chick-fil-A. We were mentioning Chick-fil-A earlier.
Thanks.
And you know how they write your name on your order? Like
Sure.
if you get a cup.
Yeah.
So I got breakfast and I said my name was Blake. and she gave me my cup and it had Blade written on it, like Wesley Snipes.
Well, that's cool.
Yo,
I took a
that's an
picture of it. I meant to
upgrade.
send
That's
it to
an
you guys. I think I
upgrade.
sent it to my other friends. Yeah, but that was actually really funny, and that was the first time I got that. So if you ever meet
That's
a
dope.
Blade, Tyler, let me know.
Laser.
Yo.
Laser.
Blake, if I'm you, I start giving that out as like my regular restaurant name.
Blade.
What's your name? Yeah,
Blade.
just Blade. Oh man. And so they have to call it out, and you get to go up and grab your cup for your food from them.
I think I may
never
take you
thinks
up on
name's
that at least
Blade.
once.
Yeah, that's funny though. That's really funny.
People will believe it nowadays. They'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, cool,
Yeah.
dude, that's sick."
Oh, your name's Blade.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah,
Parents,
it's gonna
big
take the one
fans.
person who's just a movie lover to totally be in on it.
Oh, it's not
Yeah.
even gonna take that.
But it's
Just get-
written. It's written like a gamer tag. It's like B14.
Yeah, it's
E3.
Yeah,
It's
D3.
it's in what is that, Leet or whatever that
Little
coding
X,
language?
big X, BL4, D3, X.
Yo,
little
I
X.
used to have the 2 X's on my name.
Oh, everyone
That's
did. I had a
crazy.
gamer tag back in the
Yeah,
day.
I haven't even
had
thought of
little X,
that
big
until you
X.
guys just said that.
Yeah, little X, big X. Oh yeah.
Man,
Thanks. Yeah, either way, I had a really good time with this. This is right up my alley. I am doing a lot of sci-fi things in my universe right now with Starfield and a couple of movies that I've been watching too. And yeah, I think acting wise, this was really good. I think the young AI. I'm not looking at IMDb right now because I'm
Yeah.
running up a hotspot. So we're trying to minimize how much I'm using.
Alfie.
But yeah, awesome job. I love when you get like these kid actors that actually may or may not have some kind of formal training, but still do like a really good job. But yeah, obviously we'll talk about like the score, and this is obviously Rogue One-y, like we said. It's got a lot of good things going for it. There are some, particulars, but overall, had a good time. Definitely recommend. Adam?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, with everybody here. But overall, like, did this movie blow my socks off? And like, was I like, did my jaw drop at any point? No.
No.
But was I having a good time overall and liking what I was watching? Yeah, I think Blake hit it on the head where it's like I would watch another 15 of these before I watch another sequel or requel or reboot or remake or whatever it is. I would 100% give my money to just watch something new and fresh and something where I have no idea what to expect or have no expectations or wants on my own side of things for like what a sequel or a remake like looks like. Like it's just fresh. And I don't know what this world looks like, and I get to learn what this world is and how it operates and all that stuff. Like that was probably the most fun part for me. Was there's a lot of great world building here, and it was really fun to spend 2 hours in a universe that I hadn't seen before, and that like of course looks somewhat familiar. It's not like we haven't seen these styles here and there, but like as a whole, like this felt very lived in terms of the world. Everything kind of like the way it played out made a lot of sense, and it was just fun seeing all these new concepts. And the fact that this had $80 million budget is insane to me because I would not have guessed that coming out of the theater. So yeah, no, I would 100% take these over all those other, just sequel after sequel or reboot or whatever it is. Like I would love more of these. Honestly, like. I wouldn't mind a sequel in this universe. Like if we got something, maybe not the same characters or same story even, but like just in this universe, it seems pretty interesting. Dude, that I would watch that 100%.
Whoa.
But yeah, there was a lot here that was good to enjoy, a lot to enjoy here, and I overall had a good time with it. Nothing groundbreaking, I don't think. Nothing, amazing, but like
Yeah,
still
I
an
think
overall
it's the
solid
reason
movie.
it didn't blow like anybody's socks off is because we're all obviously subjected to a lot of sci-fi, so it's
Mm.
kind of like hard to excuse me, impress us, or like I haven't seen anything like that before in my entire life kind of moment. But But yeah, this is like if just a ton of sci-fi movies or like genre things just all kind of like had babies and then like those babies somehow met and then had a baby. Like this is what the culmination of all that is.
Yeah.
It's
You have like a ton of cyberpunk in here. You have a ton of Rogue One. You have a ton of like Ghost in a Shell kind of vibes. And then there's a ton of stuff. Like Blade Runner. Like there's so much stuff in here that this is like a culmination of. So, but it was still good.
yeah, it's definitely a film that wears its influences on its sleeve, you could say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, I would say I'm probably a recommend. I think I more so a lot of that is just like we should support these movies because they need to be made. And like, yes, this one wasn't a home run, but the next one could be, you know. And so like, I think it's important people to go see this movie. I think you would enjoy it if you like sci-fi of any sort. Is it the best thing I've ever seen? No, but it's still a good time. And liked it a good amount. So I'm gonna recommend here.
What's the baseball saying? Base hits win games.
Sure.
Yeah,
This had
I
a
think
this had a lot of base hits, and it's a win.
it did.
So,
Yeah, it had a lot of singles. You know, you just get men on base, get them on, get them over, get them
yeah,
in.
this isn't a playoff game or anything. We didn't win the championship, but this is a good win.
We'll take it. Yeah. Was that a recommend all around then? Or are we good all around?
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
believe so.
recommend.
I don't think Blake is currently present, but I'm pretty sure he was a recommend.
Yeah, he was a recommend. All right. Well, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and head into spoilers. So if you have not seen the creator and do not want to spoil it for you, go ahead, check that episode description where I've left a timestamp you can jump to where you'll be taken to our ranking of the movie up upon the entropy list. Nathaniel, spoilers time.
Spoilers.
It was robot spoilers 2 weeks in a row.
Love it. It was fitting this time.
Shit goes down.
It goes down.
It goes down.
I don't know where to begin here.
Yeah, it's let's talk about this a little bit because the part of the kind of things that I had or some of the issues I had with movie were some of its structural things where you had it broken down in kind of these 3 parts that I don't think really needed the kind of separation title cards and everything. I got where it went in the end, but I think sometimes it hindered because occasionally they would kind of play, you would get flashback or momentary flashbacks kind of in those sequence too, and sometimes that kind of confused me a little bit of where I was in the movie and what exactly was going on because it's not something we addressed in spoilers, but like this is a movie where the John David Washington's character you're playing has been undercover in the past and is now there again to retrieve this weapon, but also could be fighting on the side of New Asia as well too. It's like it's hard to kind of track his loyalties sometimes, and I don't think the structure necessarily
like
helps
he was
that.
trying to save the one guy, and then
Shipley.
You know, he ends up passing. Yeah, and then so it was. I wish he would have just picked a side early on, versus trying to have it kind of. I mean, even he's trying to, I guess, kind of figure it out. But
yeah, I mean that's definitely part of the story for sure is his journey.
Yeah.
But like I think that change just the way that it was structured kind of in that way, it didn't feel as natural as if you just kind of let the whole thing play out in its kind of continuous form.
Yeah, the title screens almost did more damage.
Yeah, I think in some ways because it was almost like you had to reset.
I could have guessed what that was about. You didn't have to.
Right.
Yeah, basically like reset a new scene for me. I know where we're at.
But again, overall, like that's not a huge thing. I think I've seen some people compare, the writing in this one to like Avatar, just in that it is this kind of very not formulaic, but you start with like these kind of stereotypes or archetypes, and then you kind of it tells a very old story with it, with a lot of new ideas mixed in. I think. and it's not like it's not a character driven story. It's the kind of plot driven version of everything. So you're not going super deep with anyone or anything like that overall. But yeah, I've also seen other people describe it as a movie that exists on vibes, and I think that's also somewhat true in some ways too. There is a lot of this movie that is just
That's
like,
fair.
holy crap, that's pretty cool to look at. But
Mhm.
we haven't really even. I haven't really gone into the story all that much because it is kind of. It goes a couple different places, and even then, I'm not sure that the story that it tells is like the most interesting one in the universe. That they could have gone with.
That's yeah.
But overall, move weapon onto big nomad ship, which we haven't even talked about either. The giant fuck off American
So
spaceship.
cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But get the tiny robot up there and blow it up and take it down so that America stops blowing up Southeast Asia or
Yeah, I thought
Southwest Asia.
the part about it being a coding error on the human side was a
Yeah.
pretty cool little flair to put in there. Just kind of another thing too that like sometimes war is ridiculously stupid and pointless.
Right. So, because on one hand you have the AI, which we see in some places are just robots, where that's where it almost gets that like Blade Runner District 9
Yep.
vibe, where they look like a droid or something like that. And then you have the simulants, which are AIs, but with the
Humanoid.
face of someone who has agreed to upload a scan of their face to this body.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, which is it's
Your
funny.
likeness.
It was
Yeah.
pretty cool though.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
Yeah,
there's
that's a cool concept.
then there's
yeah.
the humans. And everyone in the world can get along with AI and the simulants besides America, because America it believes that
well,
they
they
were
say
attacked.
the West,
Yeah, that's
but
true.
let's be real. Who's leading that?
Don't the tanks say
hatred?
U.S. Army on them?
Yeah, they
Yes,
do.
yeah,
They
yeah.
do. It's Vietnam. The whole thing's Vietnam.
Oh, it's Vietnam. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's Vietnam. That's
Um,
real.
but where was I going with this whole point? I just guess when I walked out of it, I was actually turned to Waz who saw it with us, and I was like, that is the first movie I have seen in a long time that like portrays the U.S. Army as interestingly as this one does, and I'm not going to be surprised if it does better overseas than it does in America in some ways.
Sure.
Like,
They very well could. Yeah. No, it was pretty
Especially
black and
because
white.
people nowadays just get so butthurt.
oh yeah, 100%.
Like they can't just enjoy the movie for what it is.
Right. And they can't see the nuance in what it's trying to present, which is, hey,
Right.
your military and your government may not always be telling you the truth when it comes to these things. Who would have thought?
I guess my other question is, did you guys buy into kind of the central premise of the movie, which is this little girl who is a weapon as well too?
My biggest issue in that terms is what you touched on, which is like the writing side of things, where it's just like, oh, I've seen a lot of stimulants. This one's different. She's super advanced. Like, I don't know. It was just kind of like, you're just telling me information. You don't have, and that's where I feel like they could have gone deeper and given me a little bit more to go off of, where it would have felt like I could buy in a little bit more. Like, oh, well, usually stimulants are like this, but like there's something special here.
Well,
X.
Yeah,
That
I think
gives me
that part of it was the kind of what we talked about earlier, where you just see characters be like, oh, it's a child. There hasn't been one of those
Mhm.
before, kind of things. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
obviously, then she does also have powers, which she is developing as the movie goes on, where she can remote into anything and kind of take control of it as well too.
Which is a cool ability in that world, which I think is,
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
cool, but it just the way they get there and they present it is just like, I don't know. Oh, I've never seen a simulant like her before, or like she's super advanced. Like I don't know. It was just
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
wanted
clear
a
that
little
she's
bit more to
important.
Right, they make it-
The
they
way
make
that
that
the movie's
clear.
already played out.
exactly. Yeah, they make that pretty clear.
I think it
So
also
yeah, it was
it faces the tough
good.
test too of like, yes, that is a cool power conceptually, but that is a tough thing to kind of articulate visually and make interesting. beyond just
Right.
like the kid sitting there and doing the meditation pose and then
Exactly,
something
yeah.
else moving.
I do
Like,
think they could have done more than what they did. Like a
I'm
camera
glad it
shake, a
didn't-
camera effect, something.
I'm glad it didn't turn into like CGI like waves.
well,
coming over.
Right,
You know,
I-
I'm glad it didn't turn into something like that.
And I
would
think-
rather have something very simple like this than have them overdo it. But a camera, you know, a very simple camera effect or something probably would have helped.
Right.
Well,
and that's where we get into, I think, some of the limitations of how this was made, which from listening
Sure.
to kind of other podcasts and stuff, apparently the reason this cost $80 million is because Gareth Edwards was like, he went to his buddies who are concept artists and was like, hey, make this. And so they storyboarded it all out ahead of time. And then he went to the studios and was like, here's what I want to make. And they're like, that's a $300 million movie. And he, who came up from indie filmmaking, was like, no, here's how I'm going to do it. And he took a crew of it was only up to like 4 people. They got a consumer level Sony camera, so it costs about $4,500. And then
Weird.
they just flew to over 80 locations and just shot most places that they could. And then he locked the film, delivered that to the VFX artist, and was like, okay, now fill in the rest of it around it, basically. So I think the benefit is you get an $80 million movie that looks like this, but the drawback is if at any point you wanted to, let's say, goose something up or go back and reshoot a little bit of something like that and maybe, you know, twist some effects or something like that, you don't really have that leeway as much, obviously. So benefits and drawbacks, which again is part of filmmaking, and that's you know, a lot of the greatest movies that have ever been made were made because they're limitations. You have to work around it. Jaws, the shark didn't work half the time. You have to work around it, you know? So, you know, I definitely want to see Gareth Edwards do more. This is, I think, again, another, you know, bullet in his barrel. I think this buys him at least another movie for sure, right? And
yeah.
definitely want to do more, see more, and do more, because the guy's got, I think, one of the better natural visual eyes of big storytellers that we got of the generation of filmmakers working right now. His sense of scale, I think, is up there with the best of them. Like
I would agree.
we one of the kind of set pieces of this movie is the big nomad ship, which kind of hovers in low Earth orbit and then will occasionally drop down out of the sky and then shoot a giant targeting laser like you're in AC-130 in COD 4 again, and then just drop a nuke on someone from the heavens.
The blue laser was one of the coolest little like things I think I've seen. Like immediately
Sound
once
effects
they
for the Nomad too were
sound effects too were great. But yeah, immediately from that cold open when they come out of the water and you see kind of that blue laser like scanning the water, like what is that? What is it doing?
Yeah.
And you kind of just want to know more instantly. It's a cool effect that it remains cool throughout the film, I think. And then seeing it in the sky when you kind of when they have those shots and it's just sitting there in orbit in the atmosphere, it's haunting. And it's really cool design. Probably one of my favorite parts of the movie really was just the Nomad design of its weapon system and everything like that.
And then I think
the only thing I didn't care for about it was because it was in like orbit the first time you see it, and then it's like super low to the ground
Yep.
every other time that
Exactly.
you see it. So I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
why? Where's the
for
like just keep it low to the ground if you're trying to make it very haunting, and so people like see it and they're like, fuck, like that's fine. Don't
Yeah.
put it up in orbit. Or
I will say-
that was one of my gripes.
I will say this movie doesn't always have the best sense of geography of where you are within the scene and kind of where the action is going and kind of as
it makes
a
sense
viewer.
now that you explained about the 4 people basically just going around shooting locations, because you can tell that the traveling scenes are like, it's like Asian or Asia kind of countryside, and then it goes to like desert, and then
Yeah,
it goes to
yeah.
like a winter, and so like everything's very pieced together, and you're like, where the fuck am I that these 4 environments are all coming together in
Yeah.
the same point that they're walking through? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So yeah, that was another thing that I was just kind of like, this is not how this should have been done.
The other
they do jump pretty
effect
quickly.
I would definitely highlight is the simulant effect, which I think kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Ava in Ex Machina a
Yep.
couple weeks ago, with kind of the use of negative space,
Mhm.
using a human rather than like having an actor go into prosthetics for a robot or layering something over them as a human with CGI or something. You instead film the human and then take parts away and make them more mechanized and everything. Mechanized. And
Fantasized.
Mechanized. What's the symbology?
Symbolism.
And that in itself, it like it tricks your brain a lot. It really does give them kind of that almost uncanny valley robot sense. So yeah, I thought that was a really cool.
And you're
effect
looking
as well,
for it too. It's instantly identifiable. It's
Yeah.
like when the new character comes on screen, you're looking for a way to see like, all right, like what's going on here, which side are they on, that kind of thing. And so instantly you're just looking for the ears to see what kind of effect they got going on over there. So a great way to kind of identify who your characters are immediately. Yeah, definitely get some good character design there too.
There were some parts too that I thought were funny that maybe should not have been funny, but they were. Like the guys all getting ejected out of the airlock.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're just like in again, and they look like they're in fucking orbit. And
Yeah.
it's like, whoa. And
Yeah.
then, did you guys catch the cartoon that Alfie kept turning on? Was like an anime or cartoon version of the Nomad getting blown up.
Yeah.
That, and when they go on
So,
That was a
the
good catch.
they go on the lunar, or they go to the lunar airport, one of the destinations is Scarif. I noticed as well too, which is the
I
planet
did not see that.
from Rogue One. Yeah.
That's funny. That's a nice little
That's
Easter egg.
dope.
Yeah, I would say one of the issues I had was just a little bit of the editing, and I don't know if it's editing or if it's more something along the lines of the constraints of the budget, but it just felt like the movie, in some ways, it did feel pretty long, just with how the pacing of it was drawn out and everything. But
there
in the
was a
other half of
time-
that, go ahead.
I was just saying there was a time where I like looked at my watch and be like, have I been in here for 3 hours, or is it still like an hour and a half? Like where?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah. So there were definitely some times where like this is dragging on a little bit long. The pacing isn't great. But at the same time, it's a movie that was too long, but also it was a movie that needed more time to breathe. I feel like there was just so much of this movie felt like it was like, oh, bam, bam, bam. We're here, we're there. A lot of like odd cuts where like one that sticks out to me was when they were at the little monk village and they had just found their Maya, and just pulled the plug on her.
Yeah.
And then the commander, and then like they show him pulling the plug on her. They show the commander getting off her ship, and then
She's
one or
there.
two cuts later, she's there, and it's just like,
Yeah.
all right, well, what kind of time, what kind of time frame are we running on here?
Yeah.
Like how does that line up? So like small stuff like that I felt like was consistently going on throughout the movie, where I was just like, the pacing is just so
100%.
odd. It doesn't all fit together right, and I think that is got to be a consequence of probably how Nathaniel said they shot the movie, which is just gonna happen sometimes in a bigger
Yeah, I
budget. Maybe you
think
can work around that more.
if there is ever like a director's cut of this and they get to
Mhm.
re-edit like where certain things are at in the movie, I think it would benefit them significantly.
100%. Yeah, it felt like this was a movie that they filmed everything potentially, and their first cut was like 3 to 3.5, maybe even 4 hours, or like 3 to 3.5 hours though, and it's like, all right, well, we need to cut like an hour of this out, and they
Yeah.
just cut out a lot of the smallest stuff they could think of to get the main story intact, but then just sacrificed a lot of the in between, that kind of. It didn't really. It wasn't a huge shortcoming of the movie, but it just did take some away from me. Especially like the climax of the film too felt that way, because all of a sudden, they get out of that monk village, and then I feel like in the span of 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, it was like they get out of that final village, and then all of a sudden, like it was just like one thing after another. Okay, we're on the ship. All right, well, Alfie, you got to put Alfie, like you got to be the one to do this to Alfie. Okay, then they're on a truck to go instant out. Like it just felt like those things happened. The sequence of events there was bang, 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 and just
Yeah.
needed a little bit more space in between those. I know it just felt like they were on a huge time constraint with the runtime at that point. I feel like it as the movie went on, the events progressed quicker and quicker, and they spent a lot of time getting the world developed in the first act. And maybe the first half of the movie is in total. That the second half was just condensed extremely, and it just felt like we were kind of picking up speed as we went along, which I think was a little bit of a disservice to it. But again, I think that's more of a consequence now that I know what the constraints of the filmmaking and the budget and everything were. That's probably more of a consequence of that than the actual editing. But
Sure.
definitely something that kind of degrades from it a little bit. An issue that I kind of noticed.
I would agree. I do hate that the like right hand of the robot, the full robot who's like the right hand of I can't remember the fucking
Watanabe?
guy's name. Yes. Yeah. I hate that he
The
died.
chappy looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was yeah.
He was so cool. But
He was
again, I
cool.
like that he was like he saw that there were people there and
Mhm.
he was like, if I go in there, it's gonna kill everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
just gonna take one for the team.
Just gonna turn around.
He
Brutal.
was like
brutal
sitting in there
death.
smoking, and I was like, how does that affect him? I'm curious now.
It doesn't.
I need a sequel. Someone needs to explain this to me.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
USB
And then
drive.
I also really liked the design of the bomb robots. Bomb bots.
Dude, yeah, I wanted to bring that up too. The
They
little
just look
suicide
like big
bombers.
fucking garbage cans with just beefed up arms and legs, and they just fucking truck, dude. It
Dude.
reminded me of the guy who blew up the bridge in Helm's Deep for
I
Lord
was
of the
gonna say,
Rings.
it's
like,
gotta
people
be
were
the
trying to take him
Uruk-hai.
down, and he's just
Yeah.
fucking
Legolas!
gone, dude. So yeah, and like the movement on it looked so good, and again
It
the
did.
sound of like them coming down the bridge through the smoke, and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" Like
Yeah.
that was a cool moment for
No,
where
I
I was at in that
agree.
space.
I agree 100%. That moment was really, really cool. Those bomber guys were awesome. I
I
love how go ahead.
I like the reveal that she's been in a coma and that they can't
Yeah.
harm her, so she's just been stuck there.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of thing as well too. I thought that was really interesting. And
Yeah,
That is
you
really
can't harm the
cool. I
creator.
don't. I wish one of them would have lived.
the parents,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it just
Oh,
would have
yeah.
made sense for me more. So she has some kind of guidance.
Right.
Um and obviously she'll learn and develop so quickly, but like maybe she did like I know that they kept saying off, but maybe the concept of death still like isn't 100% there for her. So I feel like it's just like she's just lost now.
Yeah.
But
Not the
that-
happiest of endings in that term, for
Yeah,
sure.
but I think that's what almost kind of makes this unique, even though it is like a one of one idea. It's because I feel like in other universes, if this film is made, I think it does have some of that stuff going on for it, or it's more
Sure.
of like an upbeat ending, and they're trying to add on sequels and things of that nature. I think that's kind of one of the few things that, not one of the few things, some of the things that I did find appealing.
Yeah, I
I
think
would agree, and I like the symbology behind the fact that like sacrifice is necessary on all parties for there to be like true unyielded like peace. And so like they ultimately give up their lives just so that she can live and carry on, and now like the war is over. So like I like the fact that like there's those deeper meanings for something like that, but I
Yeah.
don't know. When I was walking out, I was just like, "Fuck! I wish one of them would have lived."
yeah,
You know what? You go ahead, Nathaniel. You go ahead.
I think it's partly like you have also to the story of Gemma Chan's character who says like I was orphaned and the AIs raised me and I am who I am because of that. So like that's also supposed to be like she'll be okay because now we've stopped the war and like even if she is without her parents, society will raise her correctly and that kind of thing.
Sure.
But I agree with you too. It is kind of that like, oh well, I want them to be together. But I think
Yeah.
the other thing is obviously they were trying to build to the I want one more final moment with my wife kind of ending as well too.
Yeah,
and, like,
100%. And like
fulfilling.
that was like probably one of the moments where I was like, I actually have chills.
Sure.
And again, maybe that's just because like mine and Leah's relationship, but yeah, I couldn't imagine seeing your person like that for the first time in so long. And knowing that like immediately right off the bat when they see each other, when he asked for forgiveness, like she already forgave him.
Right.
So now you get like all those emotions kind of washing over you, and they don't even have to explain it, which I thought was really good. You just know. But yeah. You
It
know.
was a happy ending in that respect, for sure. Where
Yeah,
like you were
100%.
happy to see them get a final moment together. He got, the validation knowing that
And
she did
Alfie
forgive
smiles
him.
at the end. She's
Yeah.
sitting there smile crying. So
Yeah.
Great death by Allison Janney. Her character getting stuck with the
Oh yeah.
the thing.
The
and
bomb.
Yeah. I wish we hadn't had that exact sequence play out like 2 times earlier in the movie as well too, of the character
it
being
was
stuck
cool though
with the
that
bomb.
she finally had that moment where she's like, "Fuck, she
Yeah,
can't save
yeah.
people."
Yeah, I did like that as well, and I liked how she messed with it as well too, and messed with the triggering on it, and kind of got
Yeah.
to explore the powers a little bit more that way.
I would agree.
Wrap it up. Final thoughts on this one, boys, and get it up.
Yeah.
there
Any
on
other
the-
big thoughts here?
No, I mean, I think we all kind of touched on majority of it, but I think the huge takeaway is just like, we need to support like original ideas. So I don't even know what this is going to look like box office wise, because this was opening weekend, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Let me
Yeah.
see what if
So
I can.
I'm curious what this will look like box office wise, right?
I
To
heard
see.
it was in the neighborhood of around 15 million.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing 15
Which
million domestic here.
which again, because it costs 80, doesn't actually mean it's going to be that bad overall. Like
Right, right. I guess, yeah.
worldwide, it'll make that back no problem.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would say that that's a takeaway, right? To kind of keep an eye on this to see what it does in the box office for it being an original idea, as well as like, we just need to push stuff like this in Hollywood. Like this stuff is few and far between, and then you compound that with the $80 million budget. Like, I hate to harp on like Marvel, but like they're putting together films with like a budget that's like double this.
Oh yeah,
It looks
Facts.
worse, like substantially worse. You know what I mean? So yeah, there is some artwork, quote unquote, that is behind this film for sure.
we see where
Alright.
it ranks.
Let's do it. Welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast. We're gonna go ahead and throw the creator up upon our entropy list.
Up
For
upon.
those of you who do not know, our entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. It's essentially how we rate our movies. If you want to reference the entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description, where it is linked to my Letterboxd.
All right.
The creator.
District 9 is my kind of balance
Yep.
point here.
I was starting there myself mentally.
I don't think I like this as much as I like District 9. I think District 9 is a
Agreed.
better encapsulation of a vision in like one moment. I think this one, if you set an anthology series in the creator world and had like 3 more of these or something like that, you could have some really, really cool stories in there, maybe get something on the District 9 level. But I am below that at the moment. So let's see. I think I'm going to put this. I'm going to put this at 88. I'm going to put it below X, above the menu. The other one I saw in there is Prey, and I think this is one that I think is kind of in that same ballpark, but I like X better. So I'm gonna put a 88 right below X, right above the menu.
Okay.
This Sizzle, I heard they're working on a second Prey.
Oh, well, there you go. Praise.
What did you say again, Nathaniel? What was the number?
88.
88.
Every time I hear that number, I think of Gridiron Gang. with The Rock.
Oh,
Because one of the
Yeah.
gangs,
Yeah.
one of the gangs is the 88s, and I just always remember that kid just being like, "You a goddamn 88," and then they start fighting.
I think those are neo Nazis, 88s.
I don't know.
Yeah, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, there's
Go ahead.
no, never
You
mind.
had a tangent you wanted to get to?
No, I'm good.
The only thing I was gonna bring up was what we were talking about today. A racist Leo is good cinema.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Quote Blake.
Funny joke on that, but yeah, that actually is very unfortunate that Leo is not racist in the
Yeah.
upcoming movie.
Leo's best roles.
Yeah, he's good, man. That guy's good. So yeah,
He's a
I'm
good fake racist.
for sure.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that was a funny joke in our group chat earlier today.
Might be the best
But
fake
yeah,
racist we
I
got.
think I'm kind of on par with what Nathaniel's chatting about, right? My first thought was District 9, seeing that at 73, and I like District 9, pretty wide margin over this guy here. So scrolling through, it's tough. Prey kind of fits that same sci-fi mold, though. I do think I like Prey more. Then there's kind of like that horror meta row, which is like really tough for my personal factor to get over. And then I see like Independence Day, right? The OG Independence Day. And I'm like, you know what? That's also another sci-fi joint. Little bit of different nostalgia factor behind that though for me, right? Seen that one a handful of times. But I think it's more on par with kind of that idea. But then I see like Black Widow above that. I think I'd go ahead and I'd go 99 to put it above Black Widow and below No Time to Die.
Interesting.
99.
I think there is this like 80 to 100 pack is very compacted with a lot of movies that I think could potentially be switched around.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And I still think The Descent is still too low.
Also true.
Yeah, me and
but I
Adam
will
chatted
let
about
that kind of be my yeah. I'll let that be kind of like my gatekeeper. I do like Soul quite a bit, especially
one.
on a rewatch. Somewhat recently. You guys know how I feel about Malignant. A Quiet Place. I mean, that's a killer movie. I actually just kind of rewatched The Menu while I was out here. It was on HBO, and it's turned kind of mid on me.
Okay.
But
Fair.
I'm gonna let The Descent be my gatekeeper. I'm gonna put it right up next to that. I'm gonna put it at 82 above Malignant.
Damn.
All right.
Yeah, that'll probably be the highest. But I don't like La La Land. I like Fablemans, but I don't know how often I'm gonna give that a rewatch. Pinocchio was good, but
Yeah, that's
again,
true.
that's like a once every like 2 or 3 years kind of pull. Frozen I've watched so much, and then Blade and Predator. So yeah, I think it's a good spot for me. It's how I feel. 82.
Lock it in.
All right.
Adam, what are you
I'm
thinking, boss?
thinking I might be the lowest.
Interesting.
Just because there's some movies towards like The Blackening I enjoyed more than this. Blind Spotting I enjoyed more than
Yeah.
this. I might even like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant
Honestly,
Mayhem more
bro,
than this.
that's the one that caught my eye. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I didn't say
I
it
had
out
a good
loud.
time
I
in
didn't want
that
to be
movie,
judged
man.
by the group because it's at
No,
number
I'm
12.
not afraid.
Yeah, that movie's
yeah.
pretty funny.
I'm not afraid. I love TMNT,
To
you
put
know?
this
Yeah.
to put this anywhere close to Men is fucking absurd.
Yeah, men's in a weird
Well, that's
spot.
where I think
I'd
there's
say
that
much.
gap too. Is like I feel like there's still a gap between men and then the next tier, you know.
I agree.
And I think of The Notebook too. Like the only outlier, Ghostbusters. Actually, no, Ghostbusters not. But the only outlier I see in that kind of tier for me personally, and probably not for you guys, is Evil Dead Rise. But that's a me thing. That's a me thing. So I'm like realistically, I'm pretty low, but also like kind of high on it. Like I still enjoy the movies I'm putting it next to, even though it sounds much lower than I mean it to be. But I think I'm gonna go 113, below Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and above Men. Of course, that's not where it's gonna end up, but I think that's my personal spot for it. Of course, it will end up after all those rankings are averaged out with a rating of 95.5, meaning we tie break it with Scream
Which Scream?
I think that's
2022.
That's
Sorry,
2022, sure.
yeah, Scream
I was gonna
5,
say that
right?
can't be original.
that's Scream. Yeah, that'd be Scream 5.
I think this is better.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
above.
Yeah, it's an original idea.
I
I'll give
agree,
credit for
actually.
that. Yeah.
All right, we'll put it at 95 then.
Cool.
95. Cool. All right, so
Cool.
we'll leave the creator there at 95. Below The Last Duel. What the hell is that thing doing up there? And above Scream 2022. Cool. We'll leave it there. That'll be that. Did we decide we're doing Exorcist next week? Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, do
Followed
we
by
want to do the
Exorcist
new one?
Believer.
Because isn't the new one next week?
New one is the week after. So we'd be doing Exorcist next week,
I'm
Exorcist
sure.
Believer the week following. At least that's
Okay.
how we have it on the schedule.
Yeah, let me double check that though. I think the new one is actually next week. So we might want to flip that on the schedule, boys. Let me confirm.
Exorcist the
Yeah,
Believer comes
it's
out
October
October 6th. I think we maybe did that just for scheduling sake so we could get the creator in. But I mean, if we just want to skip the first Exorcist and go straight to Believer, I'm cool with that too. I don't really care.
Yeah, I think
I
we should
haven't
probably
seen the
get to
first
that.
Exorcist, but I don't know if I really need to.
Yeah, I think we should probably get to that this weekend because this is release weekend. You know what I mean?
Fair
Get
enough.
that
Fair
on
enough.
there, and then maybe then if we want to do the OG, The Exorcist, then let's just flip the weeks. You know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah, we could.
But
That or
just-
we could just throw in another horror movie if we want to just do
totally
something else. If we don't want to double up on Exorcist. All right, let's do
Yeah.
that then. Cool. All right, we'll be watching Exorcist the Believer. Is it the Exorcist Believer? Yeah, there you go. The Exorcist Believer. That's out in theaters this weekend. Then I guess October 6th. Though, go check that out. That means I have to go to the theater to watch a horror movie, which I don't enjoy doing. But hey, I'll do it for you, listener. All right. What we're watching here, gents, we got some time. What's everyone been watching?
I'll kick something off, and this is gonna be shout out my boy Nathaniel. At the store on Saturday, told me to go home, watch a movie, Hulu joint. End up going home, letting something rip pretty quickly. It's called No One Will Save You. So it's one of those Fox Studio movies that came out on Hulu this past year. Literally like probably 3 weeks ago. Probably didn't even realize it dropped. I sure wasn't until Nathaniel told me. And honestly, not bad, man.
It's pretty good.
Not bad, Nathaniel. Yeah, not bad. I was a little skeptical.
Sure.
Obviously not questioning your word, but more so going to click it, and it's a PG-13 horror.
Sure.
And I was like, oh man, uphill battle, right? It's an uphill battle. But honestly, it does it well. It does it well. Caitlin, is it Caitlin Dever?
Devers,
What's her last name?
yeah, Dever.
Dever, that's what it is. She's awesome in that, and she portrays a lot of emotions and not a lot of dialogue.
No.
So kind of in like in your Quiet Place vein,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe the actual movie's not as silent, but just in terms of like dialogue characters, not really there. So you're just watching a ton of facial expressions and things of that nature. But yeah, overall pretty good, man. It's weird. Definitely I think you got to be a sci-fi horror type of person to even like a movie. Right? Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean,
It's out there.
yeah.
It's out there.
I don't know if it's a movie that's particularly scary, but it's pretty suspenseful.
No.
And I think it does with its concept, it does about as good of a job as it can.
Mhm.
And I really enjoyed it overall.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, that was good. So that one's called "No One Will Save You," a Hulu joint by Brian Duffield.
That's
Who
right.
I don't know him from anything. Actually, I think he did one of the Babysitters, if I remember
I believe
correctly.
he wrote and directed maybe both of them, and then he wrote
Okay.
another movie that was called Love and Monsters that came out in like 2019 maybe. That
Okay.
was good. It was a good movie as well too. So
Okay.
excited
Yeah,
to
I
see
don't
what he
think
does next.
I don't think I've seen that one. He may have also had some writing credits on Underwater,
Oh yeah,
which
that's
I
right.
believe me and you chatted about at the
Yeah,
store.
yeah,
The Christian Stewart joint. That's like a lost pre-COVID February 2020 movie.
yeah.
One of those. If you didn't see it when it came out, you probably never seen it.
Yep, I like that movie a lot too. It's fun.
I was gonna say, not a terrible movie.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, No One Will Save You. If you got time, quick runtime too. It's only like $140. But yeah, take a look. It involves an alien invasion in some small, I would assume, Midwest town. Funny enough, to
Right.
Tyler's point, talking about just trying to pinpoint geography in movies. That's something I was trying to do in this film, and I was like, I have no this take place.
Right.
I was like, it could be Kansas, it could be Oregon, it could be fucking South Memphis. Nobody knows. But it's an alien invasion, like 3 characters. There's no dialogue, and you're watching her doing like a home invasion alien cat and mouse type of game. So yeah, pretty cool. That's all I've got. But yeah, shout out to Nathaniel. He put me on that one.
Yeah, I'll pick it up there. Definitely check out No One Will Save You. I haven't been watching that. I've been watching an anime series called Spy Family. I figure Tyler might have heard of it. I don't think Adam
I've definitely
has.
heard of this.
Yeah.
I've never watched it. I've never really had any pull towards it.
Yeah, I didn't.
But yeah, I've definitely heard of it.
I didn't really think I would either. Until I kind of watched a couple episodes. It's set in like an alternate like East and West Berlin. And the kind of concept is that the dad is a spy for West Berlin, and he goes over to the east and needs to infiltrate a high end businessman. And the best way to do that is to find a daughter and send her to school, and try and infiltrate him that way and make friends with his kids. So he has to find a daughter who happens to be telepathic, and then the fake wife that he finds happens to be an assassin. And nobody knows anything about the other ones, obviously. So it's kind of Mr. and Mrs. Smith meets Man from Uncle. It's pretty fun. It's good,
Huh.
good little fun show. So,
Interesting.
but that's really all I've been watching. Other than that, playoff baseball, like I said, got the Diamondbacks just won against the Brewers tonight. So hopefully they can keep that up.
Hey,
We'll see.
round of applause.
See if we. Yeah, here we go. Oh dear. Oh no. There we go.
Fucking crickets.
So yeah, that's really been it. But we'll kick it on over to Tyler. You been watching anything? I know you've been busy with work.
I have been busy with work. I did. It's one of my Google movies. I've purchased it a million times. You will not be surprised. But while I was at the airport, and obviously you have to be offline while you're in the air, I always have Lord of the Rings Fellowship downloaded on my phone.
Lame.
So
Man,
I'll
how much
get
space does that take up, bro? That's got to be
4 gigs.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Jeez.
but it's worth it every
Fair
time.
enough.
And so yeah, I watched that while I was in the airport and up in the air. And once I got here, I finished it because it is a short flight from
Yeah, it's not
Chicago
long.
to here. It's about 55 minutes, so
That is pretty
up
short.
and down. Yeah, you're at the airport longer than you're in the air.
Yeah.
Which are always pretty nice flights, so it's usually kind of worth it.
That's
'cause
how St.
it
Louis to
beats, like, a
Chicago
fucking
is.
6-hour
Yeah.
drive.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, St. Louis, Chicago is less than an hour.
So yeah, I got to that. I've been trying to catch as much NFL as I can. So that's been fun for most games, not all games. Like we were talking about before, just because Green Bay isn't playing doesn't mean I don't like to watch good football. So yeah, seeing some teams perform the way that they are this season is almost unbearable. And then just kind of like my background show, like last week was is something that I've never watched from start to finish, but it's Brooklyn Nine-Nine with
Ah.
Andy Samberg and all those guys, and so that's
I've
been
seen
pretty fun
pieces of that.
to. Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty
that's
good.
that's
Yeah.
been pretty fun as far as like catching episodes I've never seen before, and so yeah,
Mhm.
it's a good little cast in there, and they've done a pretty good job. Adam,
To be honest, I haven't been watching much this week. Been gaming a decent amount. Still on Rainbow Six. It's been fun to getting
Good.
back in.
not a good game, but I'm
Um,
glad you're gaming.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
Eh,
You surprised you don't enjoy it. It's really fun.
I don't. I mean, that's toxicity at its finest.
It's not that toxic. There's more
Oof.
toxic games out there. Trust me.
Blake, oof.
Yeah, it's
Eh,
up there though, Adam. It's definitely
It's up there. Oh, it's
Yeah.
it's up there. It's just there are more toxic games out there. It's-
Honestly, I'm really over competitive shooters right now. I've been playing them for like
That's fair.
20 plus years, and so Call of Duty put a really bad taste in my mouth, and I've even stopped playing like Apex and
Well,
shit
you
like
just
that.
if
So
you had just gotten out of Call of Duty when I got out of Call of Duty, you'd be feeling fine.
there were still
Um,
some good times in there after you guys left, but I mean, the what it's turned into now, and just how unenjoyable it is as a game as a whole. No matter how much time I put in between it, it's not fun.
Right. Right.
So,
I have heard the new
Starfield.
one's supposed to be pretty good though.
I actually will be getting the new COD.
See,
I'm
that's
probably
what
gonna get
I
it
feel like
just
everyone says that every
because
year though. But
Yeah, yeah.
Those
I
look
mean, as
pretty
much
good.
as I hate this game, you always hope that the next round is better, and so I'm hoping they take a page out of some older games that this is obviously basically a remake of, and we get to have fun with it.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
this is they were saying this is a remake of it's NW2, right? That's what I
It's
thought?
not a
Or the
direct remake,
multiplayer is a remake.
but the
of
maps
NW2?
are all going to be the same.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, so that's pretty cool. That's like peak COD, right? So, yeah, who knows? I'll leave it up to you all to let me know.
Oh, well, I'll report back for sure. For sure, for sure.
As long as you guys don't Modern Warfare 2019 me, where it was you all as well as like my other buddies were like, yeah, man, let's get COD. This game's awesome. And I bought it and I played that shit for like 3 days.
Now hold
and it
on.
was
I
fucking
played. We
sucks.
actually that is not us. That is not us. Me and Tyler played that a decent amount. That was you, sir.
Yeah. Did
That was you.
I know
Which
I
one,
played that with
4?
you guys.
I was
Did
the only one you played with. You we hopped on for probably one night of games, probably for like less than 2 hours, and I never
Yeah.
saw you on that game again.
Which one
Yeah.
is this?
2019
2019.
MW1 2019.
Dude, I remember when you and I started gaming together, Adam, in Black Ops 4.
4. Oh man, what a good
Dude.
time that was. The fucking the crows.
Insane.
The cock.
Yeah, bro. The fucking
Yeah,
dog.
man. We would run it though. We
Yeah.
would
Oh,
get the
dude,
5
me,
stacks.
you,
Yeah.
Chewy.
What's that?
Giovanni?
Is Black Ops 4 2020 or 2021?
2018.
2018. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh man, that's way longer
Yeah.
ago than I thought it was. But
Games,
yeah,
bro.
that was such a good game. Such a good game. Damn. Yeah, I'll probably get this new one. It's looking
Okay.
alright.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We'll look back for the
If
match.
you hop on, Blake, I'm there. I'm with you.
All right, man.
Zombies.
All right. Well, no zombies for me. We'll see. Actually,
What?
we'll see. If
Ooh,
it's fun.
Zombies a remake
It is
from Modern
fun.
Warfare 2?
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2 didn't have zombies.
Is it no? Oh man, I sound like a fucking boomer, man.
It
That's
was-
on top.
Well, the Black Ops has had the zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one
Look
is
at
getting
that.
zombies.
It is.
And
Oh,
it's supposed to be
okay.
like
Everybody
open
saves.
world, kinda. I don't know.
Yeah.
Looks interesting.
All
though.
right, let's get the flock out of here.
Let's do it. Cool. So, what do we
Where
got
can the
here? Some
people find us?
plugs. That's right. So share the podcast, for of course, share with a friend, a family member, a simulant of you are familiar with. You could also follow the show on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod, and on YouTube we're just Back Row Banter. Please go subscribe to us there. Yeah, I'll leave it there. BlakeHolder, where can the people find you at, my man?
Yo, Letterboxd, BlakeHolder. I'll be on there logging some things, rating them out of 5 stars. I think I gave the creator a 3. Yeah, cool idea, original idea, looks awesome. Not the greatest story. So yeah, follow me there for updates. Yeah, that's all I got this time. We'll go. Let's go to Adam.
You can find me on Twitter at Aish24 and on Letterboxd at Aish. That's AYYSH. I'll kick it over to Tyler.
Letterboxd, Instagram, and X are all Tyler Vidalis, VIDALES. Nathaniel.
Yeah, you can find me at the shops. Walmart, Best Buy, Target most of the time. Mariano's.
Are you working in all of them?
No, I'm just there buying stuff. All of them.
Okay.
Solid, love it.
Yeah. Anyways, you can also find me on Twitter X and Letterboxd at this Kangaroo on Instagram and Nathaniel G92.
Even if he changed it to Twitter X, that would have been better. That would have been better.
You say
than just
Twitter
X.
sex?
What?
Twitter sex?
We
That-
need to move on. Is that
I'm
everybody?
jet lagged, bro.
You're, it's the same time zone, but yeah, that 55-minute flight really must have thrown you off.
Yeah,
well,
put you down, right?
Yeah, that'll put you down. All right. Well, if that's everybody, I think that'll do it here for episode 164. Thank you all for listening, especially if you made it this far into the episode. You're my favorite type of listener, and we really do appreciate it. Join us next week for our review of The Exorcist. Belieber. We'll BRB.
Be excellent to each other, everyone, and we'll BRB.
Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you and everything you do to help us grow. And yeah, just show some appreciation for the people that are in your life. And we'll BRB.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for the support. We wouldn't be able to continue this podcast if it wasn't for you. So thanks for listening. And yeah, it looks like we've got a list of horror movies. I'm tuned in, fellas, for October. Believer.
Hyped.
We've heard good things
Leah's-
about Saw.
Leah's least favorite month, but hyped.
Yeah, tough. But yeah, we also heard some decent things about Saw through another through another point of
Oh,
contact we have here on the
man.
pod. I believe. So yeah, maybe that's something we may have to throw on October list. We'll see if we move some dates around. They say it's pretty good. But that's all I got. We'll BRB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
Yo, fuck the Seahawks, by the way, while we're on sports talk.
Oh, okay. Well,
why is that? Are you not a
Because I had D Metcalf and I needed fucking like 5.2 points. I needed him to make like a catch and a half. That would have won my fucking fantasy game. And the Seahawks, I didn't see him the whole second half.
Oh, was he injured?
I was
Yeah.
fucking irate. No. He was questionable for the game, but he played the whole first quarter. He put up like 12 points. I'm like, dude, this looks great.
hey, side note, are we reviewing the Eras tour?
The what?
Okay. The Eras tour. It's coming to theaters.
Oh, Taylor Swift stuff?
Yeah.
No, I think that's just the whole Taylor Swift Kelsey thing has just gotten blown up way too much. I think it's just
Yeah. Can we address
it's
that
just
real
it's one of
quick?
those things that like the media is overproducing and something's getting pulled over our heads.
Yeah,
It's gotta
that whole Carson Daly, The Voice thing before Sunday Night Football, that ain't it, dog. that ain't it. That was a little much, man.
It's dumb.
I've lived.
That was really
They're
dumb.
dating.
Also,
It's cool. Who gives a fuck?
yeah, it was cool, but like, let it die. Also,
No, I just mean it's cool for
100%.
like if you care. I don't care, so it's really not that cool to me. But like it's cool. Let them date. Fine. Get
yeah,
over it,
cool,
we're done.
whatever. Cool. It's I still don't watch
Stay out of their
football.
lives.
Also, so rigged. Those two calls. Did you see that holding call they didn't get? And then the
There were a
the-
couple, yeah.
Yeah, the two calls there at the end. Yeah, wow, brutal.
Whatever.
Yeah,
All
no, that
sports
the
are
PI
rigged.
call was crazy.
That PI call was wild, and then
As soon as
missing that
Las
holding
Vegas
call
got
on 3 and
involved
22.
with sports betting, everything changed.
Yeah.
Hot take.
If you don't think some of those games are rigged, out of all professional sports, You're
Football,
insane.
especially. Yeah. No,
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's
football-
making money off that
Football
shit.
would make the most sense.
yeah,
It's a
one
quad-
1,000,000%.
$1 billion industry or whatever the heck it is.
Not saying every game's rigged, but if you don't think
No,
something's
because
going on behind the
because they
scenes,
have to keep
sometime,
low key.
right?
Let people get pissed off. We all make a couple mil, and then we'll let everybody play. And then we'll just tell somebody, somebody's got to take
Don't
the
throw
fall
a
here.
flag here, throw a flag here.
Yeah.
It's just.
Alright.
But yeah, if you don't think there are some nefarious things going on in some places,